I had this wrong for so many years. I thought if I could just become more confident, then maybe I would stop depending on other people's validations or hearing their opinions, what I was going to decide to do with my life. But confidence was never really the problem. And once I realized that, that is when things really started to shift for me. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Ashley Casper. I'm an artist, a creative entrepreneur, and a personal development enthusiast who's learning how to build a life with more freedom, more self-trust, and more room to breathe. Around here, we like to talk about creativity and personal growth and giving ourselves permission to be more of who we already are. So if that sounds like your kind of conversation, then you found yourself in the right place. Now let's jump into today's topic. As I said, for a long time, I thought the problem was my confidence. I just really believed that if I could become more confident, then maybe I'd stop overthinking and I'd stop second guessing myself. But the older that I am getting, the more I'm realizing that confidence is not the problem. The problem was that I wasn't trusting myself enough. And once I saw that, so many different things in my life started to make sense again. I began to really notice how often I was asking other people for their opinion before I was even taking the time to check in with my opinion. And I noticed how often I would look for assurance before I would take my next step. And I think as women, we tend to do this a lot, especially us women who have spent a lot of time taking care of everyone else before we took care of ourselves. Meeting expectations and being the responsible one. Being helpful and being agreeable just to keep the peace. Any of that sound familiar? Somewhere along the way, we got really good at listening to everyone else's voice, and we slowly let go of listening to our own. We lost touch with it. For me, this showed up as people pleasing. It showed up overthinking every single opportunity to the point that the opportunity wasn't mine anymore. And it showed up as me laying awake in bed all night, ruminating over what I said and did I say the right thing? Did they understand what I meant? For years, I thought that those were each separate problems that I had to fix. And now I'm realizing they're all just symptoms of the same thing. Not trusting in myself and in my own voice. Because here's what I know now, what I've learned in my experience over the last probably 14 years or so is that when you trust yourself, you don't need certainty before every single step that you take. You listen to your voice, you decide, and you move on. Here's the thing though, I think along the way we have trained ourselves out of listening to our own voices, out of trusting ourselves, and it's been a total accident. We didn't realize what we were doing. And it didn't all happen at once. It was a gradual little bit over time. Every single time that you held back something that you wanted to say just to keep the peace. Every time you decided to just pick the dinner that everyone was gonna eat, even if you really didn't enjoy it. And every time that we convince ourselves that we don't know enough and everyone else must know better than we do. Each time we do that, we cast another vote against ourselves. I've done that for years and the votes pile up fast. But the cool thing that I'm learning is that self-trust is not rebuilt by thinking your way back. It's rebuilt through giving yourself evidence. You keep one small promise to yourself today, and that's a vote for you. You share the thing that you've been sitting on for a long time because you are afraid to put it out there. You just casted a vote for yourself. You decide that you're going to take one step before you really feel ready and before the timing is perfect. And there you go. You just casted another vote for yourself. You pull out a piece of paper and some crayons and you just color for the fun of it. Another vote. These votes add up, not because you've become this completely different person, but because you're finding your way back to who you already were before all of that doubt moved in and started making itself home in your brain rent-free. So I think that's what so many of us are out here looking for. We're not looking specifically for confidence. We're not looking for perfection or for another course that's gonna make us automatically step into the person that we think we want to be. We're looking to reconnect with ourselves. The version of us that trusted her curiosity, trusted her creativity, and trusted her instincts, and trusted that she was enough, not later on whenever she gets done fixing all the problems, but right now. I think that's exactly why self-trust matters so much for us to pay attention to. Because when we can trust ourselves, everything else gets a little quieter. the overthinking, the people pleasing, and the constant low grade need for permission from other people. And then you finally get enough space, enough room to hear your own voice clearly and without all the noise. I believe the world needs more people that are able to trust themselves to create, to build, to grow, to try and fail, and to step fully into who they already are. If this is something you feel like you might be in the middle of right now, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me one specific area where you're learning to trust yourself again. And if you're finding yourself in a season of that right now, rebuilding that trust with yourself, creating more freedom, or simply making more room to breathe in your life, included a link below to roomtoexhale.com. It's a place where you can learn more about the tools, training, and community that helped me on my journey. What I appreciate most is that it combined personal growth with a practical way to create an income online, all while being surrounded by people who are committed to this journey just as strongly as I am. It's pretty cool whenever you get to have people that are growing and learning right alongside you. If that sounds like something that you'd like to take a look at, feel free to check that out. And thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me. And if you found some value in this conversation, please give the video a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. And consider sharing it with a friend if you think it might help them too. And until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and keep learning to trust yourself a little more each day.